Hi everyone, I'm Alexis Moore, and this is my presentation on the dark side of the internet. In particular, my focus of this presentation will be on the use of Bitcoins. To begin, I want to give a quick overview of what I will be discussing throughout this presentation. In order to give you a better understanding, I will begin by explaining what exactly a Bitcoin is and how they are used. I will then proceed to discuss how they are stored, and I will lastly move on to discuss the drawbacks of using Bitcoins and some tips or recommendations to prevent these drawbacks from occurring. So, what exactly is Bitcoin? Bitcoin is a digital currency that is run independently without a central bank or single administrator. Bitcoins can be sent from either person to person or company to company. Bitcoins can be exchanged for many purposes, such as other types of currency, for example, if you're trading with another country, or for products, or even certain services. Why use Bitcoin? When using Bitcoins, merchandise has the ability to be purchased anonymously without being able to trace it back to the purchaser. Bitcoins are not tied to a certain country, meaning numerous countries use Bitcoins for different purchases. By being versatile to numerous countries, international payments are cheap and easy to complete. Bitcoins are a popular option for small companies because there are no credit fees that come along with purchases. Lastly, Bitcoins are used as an investment for people. Bitcoins have the ability to fluctuate in price, which can mean an increase in value for investors. Now that I have discussed what they are and how they are used, let's discuss how we buy them and store them. Bitcoins can be bought through an exchange, also known as Bitcoin marketplaces. These marketplaces allow users to buy and sell using different currencies. In these marketplaces, people are also given the option to trade currencies or goods for Bitcoins. Mining is a way to receive or get an award of Bitcoins by solving complex math problems online, which essentially is how Bitcoins are created. Bitcoins are stored in a digital wallet. These wallets are present either in the cloud or on users' devices. These wallets are also seen as virtual banks, as users can sell, buy, trade, and exchange through them. Now I will get into the dark side of using Bitcoins. The first drawback is there's no guarantee on the value of Bitcoins. As I've mentioned, Bitcoins have a constant fluctuation of their value. There is no central authority, for example, a bank, that can guarantee its value in order for it to stay consistent. In particular, if a large amount of Bitcoin users decide to quote unquote dump their investments, the value of Bitcoins will decrease substantially and hurt the rest of investors. The second drawback of using Bitcoins is the ability to lose your virtual wallet. If your hard drive crashes or virus corrupts all your technological data, that causes the wallet to crash or be corrupted as well. At this point, Bitcoins are lost and there is little to be done to recover it. The coins then are essentially in the system, and whoever owned them or was to be owed those Bitcoins have no way to get payment. However, there are some steps that can be taken in order to possibly prevent this from occurring. First, there's something called cold storage wallets. This is an offline mode, meaning not connected to the internet, wallet, making it more difficult to be lost in viruses or through theft. Secondly, it is important to back up your Bitcoin wallet in case of the viruses or hard drive crash. Lastly, users should continuously update their software. A wallet that runs off non-updated software makes it easier for a loss of the technology if the technology malfunctions. Another dark side of using Bitcoins is there's no buyer protection. If a buyer is buying goods through Bitcoin and the seller does not send the goods, there is no way to reverse the transaction. The seller has, at this point, already received their payment of Bitcoins, and since it's anonymous, there is no way to trace the payment. In order to prevent this from occurring, users should go the extra mile for their protection. The buyer should get a third person involved to act either as a witness or message runner. In the case of a witness, the third person would be required to provide an electric signature on the transaction. To act as a messenger, the third person may be used as a middleman between the buyer and the seller. All Bitcoins and goods will be run through that person, guaranteeing both the buyer and the seller are protected and receive their end of the transaction. Lastly, the greatest drawback of using Bitcoins is theft. Some companies that use Bitcoins for their businesses are actually fronts for financial crimes like fraud. They commit these online frauds through both exchanges with other companies and individual investors. These companies find Bitcoin wallets that have security flaws, making them vulnerable to attack and allowing hackers to steal their funds. Similar, dark web marketplaces find vulnerable wallets and either hack them or allow purchasers to make a transaction without exchanging the actual goods. To prevent theft from occurring, users should make sure their Bitcoin wallets are secure and software is updated. Before making an exchange with the company, users should research the buyer's company before making a guarantee. If a buyer seems too good to be true, it probably is, and users should be cautious when making a transaction. And finally, users should avoid the dark web. Similar to the real-world black markets, the dark web is a dangerous place and is a large security risk for both buyers and sellers when using Bitcoins. In conclusion, when using Bitcoins, it is important to be cautious of who is on the other end and make sure all of your information, and especially your digital wallet, is secure before logging in to Bitcoin marketplaces. Thank you for listening to my presentation, and here I have provided the references I have used to complete it.